Oh hi, welcome to the Tingle Tailor Navy Suit for War workshop. How may I help you, sir? Sir? Yes. There, I remember, yes, our little fun call. There. You told me. Alright, tie fitting at 5 p.m. Sure, right on time. So, tell me, how can I help you today, mister? You'd like to buy a couple of ties for yourself? Sure. And you'd like to gift one tie for each of your two best friends? Alright, no problem. You know, there is no specific time of the year to gift a good friend a beautiful tie. So let's rewind a little bit and maybe let me take some measures out of you. I need to take your neck circumference measurements back because I can see you've lost a little bit of weight. So we were at 41 centimeter for your color. Sure. So let's measure that back again. Alright, so first let me untie your collar, just to give a little bit of space. Alright, now let me just warm this up for you. And let me first measure your color size. Alright. It is indeed 41 centimeter. So I'm gonna measure your neck circumference this time. Just to make sure, because it is a little bit shorter than last time. 37. Alright, let me just double check. And I will be able to correct my measurement card. 37 also. Alright, nice, brilliant. So, I'm sorry. Oh, you'd like me to teach you some tie knots? Alright, no problem. You know, as Oscar Wilde said, a well-tied tie is the first serious step in life. So what I can do is maybe teach you 3 or 4 different tie knots, and by doing so, maybe give you some technical information about how a tie is made, so that you can make the best choice at the end. Alright, let's go. Let's start first with the 4-in-hand knot, which is the most common. For this, we will take maybe here. This one. I'm gonna make the first four-in-hand knot on myself, and then of course we'll do it on yourself. Alright, so you put your front end in front of the small one, you cross, you go behind, you roll around in front, then on the back, up, inside, and then in this little pocket, inside, down, and there is your four-in-hand knot. It is not my favorite because it is kind of asymmetrical, you know. So let's try on yourself this time. Always untie your tie like you did tie it in reverse to untwist the fibers. So first, let's close your top button this time and pull your collar upwards and remove for today your metal shirt collar stays. Yes, if you could remember me at the end of putting them back, of course, thank you. So now that I have warmed up the fabric for you, we can put it around your neck like this. I'm gonna show you one time a bit further so that you can see what I'm doing, and then second time right there. Alright, so as we said, front in front of the small one, behind, alright, rolling around, you have your pocket now, behind, up, inside the pocket, down, and you can tie. And there is your four-in-hand knot to your neck like this. Brilliant. And pull the collar down. Nice. Brilliant. So now you have a four-in-hand knot. Let's do it a little bit better, closer to you, with the right amount of fabric. So let's untie it. Alright, so this is more like this, in front, behind, running around, up from behind, and inside the bucket. The four-in-hand with a little dimple always in the middle of the knot on the front tail, like this. Good. Perfect. So, what is a tie, you may ask? Let me show. This is a simple tie, alright? It is a solid color, which is nice because we will be able to see the three pieces of fabric stitched together like this. So actually, a tie is not a single piece of fabric. It is three pieces of fabric for a well-made tie. Two in some cases, you know, but here you can see the first stitch and the second stitch. Alright, so a tie is 3 pieces of fabric stitched together. So that leads me to the type of fabric. You may ask, which fabric? So this one you have here is made of silk. Alright, this is the most common fabric for ties, but this is a very refined fabric nonetheless. Silk, you've seen wool there. Let me show you another wool tie. I guess this is tweed. Alright, this is great for winter. You have cotton, like this tie made of cotton. You can see a little stitch around the edges, which is something quite fancy, artistic, not very common of course. And you can have also cashmere, linen, or a blend of those different fabrics. Alright, now there is something to know about the patterns you see on those fabrics. It is either knitted, this is the least common of course, but this is knitted, made of alpaca wool, as you can see. This is a knitted wool tie, which is not the most common. But otherwise, let's take this one. This is a printed silk tie. So that means that the patterns are printed on the silk. Alright, so there you have many rabbits on this tie, and this pattern is printed as opposed to woven ties, like this one. This is a woven silk tie because the threads of different colors are woven with a jacquard loom, so it is not printed, it is actually woven, and that allows the patterns to shine differently depending on the direction of the light. As you can see, this is the most magnificent, in my opinion, type of ties, of course. So, another example maybe would be this one. This is also a woven tie with little dots, and there, if you go here, you remove this, you can see the woven threads to make the dots. This is not printed. Alright, so a tie is actually much more technical than one can think. Alright, are you ready for the next tie knot? First, let's pull your collar upward. and remove this tie. So yes, here you have a printed silk tie, as you can see. All right. Now, our second knot will be the half Windsor. All right, let's take maybe this one, a nice red printed silk tie with 3 pieces of fabric, 1 stitch here, 1 here, of course. So, our half Windsor, a little bit more length on this front end because it consumes a bit more fabric when you tie the knot. You go in front, behind, go the other side, and then inside. And you go this way this time, so that you have a nice triangle, alright, running around to create the pocket, inside, up, and inside, there. Now, let's tie it, creating a little dimple. Alright, and there you have your half Windsor knot. I like it. Alright, so let me try on yourself. Now that the fabric is warm, let's put it this way. Alright. That is a nice tie. So, I'm going to show you further away first. A little bit more front end. You go in front, behind, inside. You go the other way there, so you have your triangle around to create your pocket, behind, up, and inside, down, like this. And now you can tie it, knot. Alright. You can now slide it along the small end up to your neck and pull your collar back down, and that's it. Nice. Let's do it a second time, closer, just to make sure it fits perfectly. So let's pull that. And a little bit less there. Alright. Allow me. So you go around, inside, the other way, around in front, behind, up, and inside the pocket. Create a little dimple and down. And just tie it up there. this, pull your collar back down, and that's it. A nice half Windsor knot on a printed silk tie. So you know how it's made, you know the fabrics, but how is it folded? Well, a tie is 3 pieces of fabrics folded either 3 times, 5 times, or 7 times, and even 12 times in the rarest cases. So let me show you closer. Let's take this one again. Alright, here you can see the folds. So you have one fold here, one here, and again one here. So that's a 3-fold tie. You can have 5-fold, 7-fold, etc. Alright, so this will imply a certain thickness to the tie. Alright, so let's say you have a big piece of silk and you fold it 7 times to make your tie. This will be nice and thick, but still fluid, you know. The thing is, silk costs quite a certain amount of money, so what we can do is make a 3-fold tie, which is the configuration that uses the least fabric, and put a lining on the back. So there you have a lining. You see, this is not the same fabric, of course, this is a lining. And to make it a little bit thicker again, we can put some interlining, which is this pieces of fabric here. We can even remove them a little bit. And this is like a canvas of a suit. That's what is inside a suit, you know. This is made of wool in the best ties, and this gives a little thickness to the tie. So this is the lining, this is the interlining. Alright. What that means is that if you have a 3-fold tie or 5-fold or 7-fold tie without lining, you have to be careful to finish the back of it very well, because you will see the back of it. Let me show you a tie like this. For instance, this one. You can see there is no lining. This is the same fabric there. This is the same piece of fabric. So the edges are finished carefully, alright? But this one has actually an interlining to make it thicker on the rest of the length that you can see there. You can see the interlining inside, alright? So when there is no lining, this is called a self-tipped tie, because it is self-tipped, literally, but still interlining. You can have self-tipped without any lining. This is like a classic 7-fold. This is just a piece of silk, basically, folded. Alright. Let's move on to our next tie knot. So let me pull your collar back up. Let's untie this one. So the one you had is a simple three-fold, 1, 2, 3, with a lining, of course, silk printed. Let me pull it back here. Now, let's teach you another knot. Maybe the Pratt knot. Let's take this one, for instance. Alright, very nice woven silk tie, because the pattern has been woven on a jacquard loom. Alright, which gives this nice reflections. And for the Pratt knot, we'll put it upside down. Alright, so that means that when you put it on your neck, we want to see the back of the tie. Alright, and then this time you don't go up, you go under. Alright, the small one, you go directly inside like this. Then you go around to create your pocket, you go inside again, and then inside the pocket like this. And let's create a nice dimple. Alright, this is the Pratt knot. Alright, so this time you can see it is in the right side, and you can just pull back up along the small end and you have your Pratt knot. Let me try it on yourself. Like this. Very nice tie. So this is the right side. We want the reverse side like this with the end. We go under and then directly inside, around, up, and you have your pocket and you go down. So here I made it really further so you can see what I'm doing, but of course this will be too big, so let's directly make it closer to you so you can see what it's like. Directly inside. Around. Behind. Up. You have your pocket. And now inside and down. And you have your Pratt knot. Perfect. Pull your color down and that's it. You have your Pratt knot. So since we talked about reverse side of the tie, let me talk a little bit about the reverse side, which is this thing here. See that? This bar tack is called a Travetto, which is a little stitch that joins the folds we just talked about earlier of the tie to maintain its shape. So this here is called a travetto. We can also find what is called a slip stitch. Let me untie this one, I will show you. Alright. So this here is the travetto. Alright, this is this little piece of little thread here. But the stitch, slip stitch, is this thread you can find inside. I don't know if you can see it. This is a thread that is going all along the tie like this, and it helps the tie also maintain its shape. But the nice thing is that if your tie is out of shape, usually you have your slip stitch inside like this that just hangs in there inside. So here you have your travetto and your stitch hangs here, and you just pull it, and that will restore the shape of the tie. So yeah, this is a thread that is inside like this. Alright, the slip stitch. Now let's see the last but not least, of course, tie knot. The full Windsor. For that we'll need a thin tie. Let's take this one, very thin here, and not too short also. So this is a silk, printed silk tie. You have your little travetto here, lining, interlining inside. Can we see it? Maybe not, if it is lined up there. Threefold. You have your slip stitch, of course. This is very thin, you can't see it. Full Windsor. You need a lot of length on the front end. You go up there, directly inside. Stay on the same side, but then you go around behind and again. Up, inside, down. You go around in front of it again to create the pocket. Behind, up, and inside, down. And now you have your nice Windsor knot. This is a very thick knot. You shall not do this with a thick tie like this one I showed you before, or maybe, yeah, this one. This is too thick. You need a thin silk tie for the Windsor knot. So now that the fabric is warm, let's try on yourself. That's it. Perfect. So, a lot of front end I'm gonna try to do it in front of you right here, but I need the thinnest part of the tie. So you go in front, inside, behind, running in front, inside. So now you have your little triangle like this. In front of it, create a pocket. Behind, now you have your triangle pocket. Up and inside, down. This is quite difficult on someone else and with a thicker part, of course, but there you have your full Windsor knot that you can pull back up, but let's make it better, closer on yourself. Alright, so in front, back, up, behind, in front, running inside, down there, alright, triangle, running around, you have your bucket, behind, up, and inside. And there you have your full Windsor knot. Pull the color down. And that's it. Nice. So, this knot helps me, well, introduce you to the dimensions of a tie. So you've seen this tie is a bit complex, it needs some length. So when choosing a tie, you have to pay attention to the length and the width, and of course the thickness, thanks to the fabrics, the folds, the lining, interlining, of course. But the full Windsor knot requires a long tie, of course. So, for instance, how long is this one? Oh, you can see the slip stitch even better on this one. Alright, so this tie is let's measure that. A 100 centimeter and 55 centimeter. So 155 centimeter. Alright. So this is quite a long tie. What I mean is that it is long enough for a Windsor knot. But if your tie is too short, of course you can, like me, put it behind a waistcoat. And in this case, you shall not put a tie bar, tie clip, tie pin if you have a waistcoat exactly like I did. But I did it purposefully because I am a tailor and I don't want to be dressed better than my clients. So I do mistakes, and this helps recognize my function, of course. So don't do that. Alright, so you know all about the ties. Let me pull your cutter back up. You know the sizes. So for care, the tie care is simple. When untying, you untie the same way you did tie it in reverse, because if you only glide the knot along the small end, this will keep the fibers twisted, and by doing so again and again and again and again, you untwist your tie. As you can see, a tie is quite a piece of technology. It is not that simple. Based on those informations, you can now choose your ties. Yes. So tell me, what is it that you're looking for yourself first? Alright, so you'd like one blue tie and one red tie. Alright, so the blues are on this side first. Maybe I can suggest this one. This is a silk, woven silk tie. This is blue, so this is made on a jacquard loom, of course. The width of the tie is of 9 centimeter and a half, which is not too big, and most importantly, not too narrow, which is the last thing we forgot about the dimensions. This is a perfect sized tie. But you don't like it, no problem. Let me show you a too wide tie. This is a tweed tie that is lined, and the width of this one is exceptionally comic, 13 centimeter. Alright, so this is too much. This is a parody of itself, but this is great for winter. I'm talking about the tweed, of course. So this blue, no. Look at this blue one. This is a woven silk tie. You can see that the patterns, colors change with the light's direction. Alright, which is kind of nice. Let's try it on yourself with a Pratt knot, maybe. Alright, so that's under, directly inside. In front of, behind, up, and down inside the pockets. brilliant. You like this one? Perfect. Let's take this one. Now, let's take a look at the red ties. So let me put this one here for you. Red ties, red ties. I have this one, which is also a jacquard woven tie, silk, with nice little dots. Not this one, alright. Maybe like a more formal one. Alright, we have this one as a more formal tie. Very thin. With this one you will be able to make a Windsor, full Windsor knot easily and not too narrow on the width. Let's try this one. Alright. Let's make a full Windsor for you, sir. And inside the pocket. All right. Perfect. You like this one? Brilliant. Let's take this one. All right. Now a couple of words on the care again of a tie. You know how to untie it now, but if it's still wrinkled because it has been tied for the whole day, all you have to do is fold it in two parts like this. Alright. And then you put your finger and you roll the tie around it. Like this. Around your finger. And then you have a nice roll. You pull your finger out. You have your roll of tie and you lay it like this on your desk all night long, and the day after in the morning you just unroll it and hang it like this. Alright, so let me pull that on the side for you, sir. Now let's select a couple of ties for your friends. So who are those friends? How are they? What do they like? You like one blue for them? Alright. Let's see what we can gift. There's this one. This is an easy choice because this is not a full green, this is not a full blue, and it is not too saturated. This is a woven silk, jacquard loom made woven, and it's perfect for both formal and less formal occasions. Alright, so that is nice for your friend. You'd like something a bit more. Okay, I see. Well, in this case, if you like the green tint, I can suggest this green tie with some white polka dots. This is a woven tie made of silk, 3 folds, lined with some interlining, of course. This is a quite generous width, I guess. 9.5 centimeter, alright. Which is perfect, not too large and not too thick also. You can try a few knots with this one. Let's take this one, alright. And finally, a red one, alright. So, is this friend also a bit funny? Would he enjoy these rabbits, for instance, printed silk? You don't think so? That's what I thought. Alright. Like a more formal tie for this friend? Alright. Alright. In this case, I can suggest this silk printed tie. Burgundy, not too saturated, perfect for formal events and business. Brilliant, let's take this one. Alright, now I'm gonna find you some boxes and we'll be done. So first, let's take this box for both your ties. Alright. And there are your ties. This beautiful box. Alright. Now let's take some individual boxes like this one. And let's this one. Alright, perfect. Maybe the same box for your other friend. And that's it. Like this. So, those are your ties. Oh, sorry. Yes, your metal. Sure. Metal car stays here. That's it. Oh, you'd like me to send these boxes directly to your place? No problem. Of course. Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.